listen to me. Oh, wow, I despise. 'Cause it means destruction of innocent lives. War means tears to thousands of mothers' eyes when their sons go off to fight and lose their lives. I said war. Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely. Get said again.
War.
Oh, Lord.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Listen to me.
War.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
War.
Friend only to the undertaker. Oh, war is an enemy to all mankind. The thought of war blows my mind. War has caused unrest within the younger generation. Induction, then destruction. Who wants to die? Oh, war. Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely. Said.
War.
Oh, yeah.
What is it good for?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Listen to me.
War.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker.
War.
It's got one friend, that's the undertaker. Oh, war has shattered many young men's dreams. Made him disabled, bitter and mean. Life is much too short and precious. It's been fighting wars each day. War can't give life, it can only take it away. Oh, war. Good God, y'all.
What is it good for?
Absolutely. Say it again.
War.
Oh, Lord.
What is it good for?
Absolutely. Listen to me.
War.
It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker.
War.
Friend only to the undertaker. Woo! Peace, love, and understanding. Tell me, is there no place for them today? They say we must fight to keep our freedom, but Lord knows there's got to be a better way. Oh, war, God, y'all.
What is it good for?
You tell me. Say it.
War.
Good God, now.
What is it good for?
Stand up and shout it.
Hey, good evening. It's us. I don't know. Who are we? This is KLRN Caucus Talk. It's Caucus Talk.
Iowa is neither a caucus nor a state. Discuss.
Talk amongst yourselves. Don't get verklempt.
We
I
should
have-
do the Super Bowl ad from yesterday where they were, I got the smart pack. We're going to talk about the caucus.
I know, and that's like the one ad I missed, and it was like the best one, right? And the ads all across the board were kind of meh. But anyway, I'm the Cyber Princess. You guys all know me. This is my usual time. We're about 30 minutes into it, but we've been preempted by a caucus. I have with me Ordy Packard, the legend, the man, the Amish, and MartiniShark, who there are no words for MartiniShark. MartiniShark is MartiniShark. How are you guys?
I was going to say that's a rarity for me because usually people have plenty of words for me.
Not me, Brad, not me. So
Not this time, anyway.
not this time anyway. So not today, Satan.
Right.
So yeah, what do you think about the caucus? Let's go. Let's get into this.
Well, I just saw a report as we were going online that the app that the caucus is using for reporting votes from the precincts is failing, and they don't actually know who developed the app, and the reliability of the app is in question. So all we're doing a crossover with the Cyber Wars thing here just came across as we were coming online. They use the app on their personal smartphones, could be vulnerable depending upon how well the workers are taking care of their devices.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
This is the most backwards primary, not even a primary, and yet,
It's
even
not
though
a
they
primary.
are remedial, they still can't get it straight.
From the article, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Some security experts took issue with this approach. The argument the party is using is effective at preventing public oversight, but not effective against protecting against cyber threats. So
Wait, preventing public oversight?
Is effective at preventing public oversight.
At preventing public oversight, because public oversight is something that you don't want.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently, the caucus workers can just put in whatever they want on the app.
Yeah, this is going to be and this is something that the Democrat Party is using.
Yes,
this is going to be great. I can't wait for the next 5 days of cyber news, because this will not go away in InfoSec for the next 5 days, at least.
Right.
Because everybody's
more
obsessed.
Than that, because they just had, what was it, a day or two ago, the Des Moines Register was supposed to have the definitive final poll, and they couldn't get that out for similar technical reasons.
Yeah, they've already had technical problems. You are absolutely right. But their technical problem was that the candidate that is probably got the steepest trend of anyone right now got completely left off the poll. That was their little technical glitch, is you left one candidate who's not a nobody and actually has a footing and a trend. You left him off the poll completely. Man, this is a banner day for democracy.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't we told throughout pretty much the early half of the 21st century that, the Dems are just so tech savvy, and that, the right is really going to struggle to keep up.
The entire Obama administration.
Yeah.
They told us that when Obama came on as president, they were going to be cutting edge, and they were going to leave the GOP in the dust. And I think it took Obama 6 years in office before he got a Twitter account.
And $1 billion website.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then they had their rollout of Obamacare, and the website where they invested $1 billion in crashed, and it wasn't due to traffic.
Right.
I mean, building. We've actually proactively put more security in the KLRN website we're building than the Obamacare site had,
and it's freaking paid off too.
Right.
Well, and let's also not forget 4 years ago when the DMC got hacked because the major players in the party weren't savvy enough to not open attachments in emails.
Right. Don't clicky the linky, Podesta. No kidding.
Spoofy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely no kidding. And this actually is Cyber Wars. Yay, great crossover. But yeah, I mean, the entire, and InfoSec is pretty obsessed right now with election security. And so you hear me laugh, but the extent to which you hear me laugh is minuscule. To the extent,
scorn and not humor.
I am inside. I am laughing 10 times, 100 times when I'm laughing externally, and it's not. And I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at I'm laughing with 80% of the InfoSec community because we're all like, yeah, we knew y'all didn't have this. Like, you said you had it, but we knew you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, this is just okay. And let's look at this from the angle of who is leading in Iowa right now. Sanders by a lot.
Right.
So
supposedly. Who knows?
But when these results, just like, the Des Moines Register poll, when these results get squashed because of questions of security and authenticity, and they totally screw the pooch on the Iowa caucuses, you're going to watch the Bernie bros riot.
Oh, hell yeah.
As much as they can. But,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be... I mean, Yeah, they're just going to make it more. It's just going to be more of a huge question mark, and I can imagine what they were thinking. Yeah, let's develop a mobile app available on Android and iPhone, right? I mean, Android, because I mean, how much news have we done about Android apps, and how many of those phones that they do they have that are government issued phones that have that permanent malware that they can't get off? Yeah,
I've got to debate that. Most of the commies I see on Twitter are tweeting from an iPhone.
Oh, okay. Well, that's much better then. That's
well, I mean,
much
if you're going to
better.
be an anti-capitalist, you want to use technology that was at least assembled in a communist nation.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, so wow, it's bad. I mean, this is going to be bad.
Well, this is where it really gets hilarious for me. I mean, are you guys familiar with how the caucus operates as opposed to a primary?
Well, I know it's not a vote; it's more of an argument. But please, I wish you would tell me, because I told you when we were talking about doing this, I said I can't talk caucus because I have never understood it. I majored in political science, international relations. Yes, it wasn't like elections; it was international relations. But still, I have never understood this process. Not really.
Right, and I'm by no means am I definitive about this either, but I do have a kind of a working knowledge at least. You know, like I can point at least where the gears and levers are at, not necessarily how they work. But basically what it is, they're county precincts in Iowa. They got 99 of them, 99 counties. And the precinct votes are first based on how the turnout is, how many votes show up. And then of that, they have to have the candidates have a particular percentage. I think 15% is the lowest threshold you have to clear. So in each precinct, there's a different number of votes that the candidates need to reach. I think in Des Moines, it was you had to have a minimum of 100. And in another one, it was, I think, 85. Once you get 15 or higher, you qualify for the count statewide. And this is going to determine your delegate counts ultimately. However, if you don't meet the threshold in the first vote, they have a secondary vote. Anybody that voted for a candidate that got less than 15% now can be reallocated. And apparently there's lobbying going on. So let's say Sanders hits 25 and Buttigieg hits 22 and Warren hits 18, they're in. And if the other candidates are below 15, now they start trying to draw those candidates to their side, or the ones that didn't qualify with 15 try to cobble some others to come over to get them over 15. It's and they do this in a gymnasium with paper ballots. And the second vote is kind of crucial. And literally, they portion people off in these gymnasiums. Like, there's a group over there. See that massive crowd? That's Sanders. He's got 120. He's good. Warren's over here in the bleachers with her 100, and they're good. And then there's a group over here that's either undecided or part of the other candidates, and they try to see who they want to then go in with on whatever arbitrary means. It's a really weird, really backwards manual process. So they're doing this in groups in a gymnasium with large paper ballots. And then at the end of it all, when the results are completed, now they can't send them to the state capitol for tabulation, it seems. So they have this very arcane method that's very basic and very easy to tabulate. And then once they get those results, they can't send them, I guess.
Yeah, and that just kind of goes with the whole, I mean, you got to wonder if I don't want to say, let me put on my tinfoil hat for a moment, that this archaic system that has worked perfectly until this year is being screwed over by technology. And it's, you almost want to say it's by design. I just, I mean.
And this is literally how provincial this process is. The last election, when it was just Bernie Sanders and Hillary, there were precincts where they were so close in the percentage. There were like a handful of delegates that they didn't know where to put them. They actually resorted to a coin flip for those. So, I mean, this is how backwards, not backwards, but just old school methodology they have. And it's literally, you go stand over there, you go stand over here. We're going to count heads. Now we got a total. Good. And that's what they've been doing for literally centuries, probably. And yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, there's snafu in the process of sending the count. A couple days ago, we had a snafu in the polling process. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Bernie Sanders has been in the lead while we've seen Joe Biden sliding down the scale.
Yeah, I'm looking at 538 right now, and the numbers just don't make sense where they have Sanders and Biden. Sanders at nearly 25%, Biden pretty close behind him, Buttigieg not far, Warren behind that, Klobuchar, and then you get down into Yang, Steyer, Gabbard is actually beating Bloomberg, or tied with Bloomberg right now. But I say this, and then on the other hand, you have the live reporting from 538 where you have Warren with 238 and Sanders with 375 at the end of the first round. So I'm getting conflicting reports from 538.
Now, is that the state count or is that in a precinct?
Let's see. The first round numbers, viable candidates are in. Warren, 238, huge cheers. Doesn't say where Amelia Thompson is reporting from, so I don't know if it's statewide or out of that precinct. I can't imagine any precincts are that large. It doesn't for 600 people in them.
Because it was earlier tonight, I saw it was, I think it was Jake Tapper, actually. It might have been in Des Moines. And he was kind of walking through the ranks to see, and he said, okay, these are the Bernie people. Do you guys have 100? You do. Okay, great. Okay, here's the Warren crowd. Do you guys have 100? You do? All right. And they were speaking with somebody in the Biden camp, and they only had 22 at that stage.
Yeah, I saw a picture from somewhere else where Bernie had a whole wall full of people. I've said, looking at it, I'd say there was probably 30 or 40 people in the picture, and a whole 3 for Biden.
Yeah, he's something's happened because, I mean, the real clear politics polling for the last month to 6 weeks, let's say, pretty much been Biden in second place behind Sanders. Sanders had been floating around that 25 percentile, and Biden was just around 20 to 21 or 2. He's really struggled in the last couple of weeks, and this is what's amazing. The core senators have been pulled out of Iowa because of the impeachment. So Biden has had free reign in the state with the exception of maybe Buttigieg. Right. And he has not leveraged that to his advantage. He's losing ground somehow.
Well, when you're threatening to beat people up and arm wrestle them and poking them in the chest and,
challenge everyone to sit-up contest.
It's just, it's amazing. And I think not coincidentally, they're having technical issues all of a sudden because somebody did get a hold of the final poll, the Des Moines Register poll this afternoon, and it was showing Biden in 4th place.
I don't know how. I know how, but I can't believe that they're going to let Biden fall this far this fast when they know that Warren is not viable.
Yeah, and that's the amazing part is she too. I mean, I was looking this afternoon at national numbers. This is just, general poll, who would you vote for? And the trend for the last month has been Biden losing ground, Warren losing ground, Sanders going up. The party is not happy about this at all.
That's why they're rigging it so that way Bloomberg who, like I said a few minutes ago, is behind Tulsi, but they've rigged it so he can get in the debates and
she can't.
And she can't. Yeah, they pretty much, let him buy his way into it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw one poll, and this was based in Iowa because of, this caucus system where, it's like, who was your first choice? Who was your second choice kind of thing. One of the questions is there a candidate you would never consider voting for? And Tulsi is at 29% in that one.
Wow.
Joe Biden at 18.
I don't get their hatred. Well, okay. I wouldn't get their hatred for her, but then they're like, they live in opposite land.
Yeah,
so,
you're not a Democrat, that's why.
Right, exactly. I cease to be able to think like them. And it's not that I pretty much thought the same way that I think now for the most part since I was in high school. But they just gravitated so, further and further and further and further left that I just couldn't even relate to them. I don't know, probably around 20, somewhere between 25 and 30. I mean, that's how long it's been since they've ever been in the realm of what my reality looks like.
Well, they were successful in attaching the Russian, red letter on her. They managed to put the red letter R on her chest. So
they put the hammer and sickle on her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I want to get y'all's opinion on this, actually, because I wonder, I watch that, and I wonder how many people actually believe that, and how many people literally cognitively say to themselves, oh, that's brilliant. That's the perfect way to get rid of her, and go with it because it's the perfect way to get rid of her.
Well, I mean, this is another one of Hillary's, putting, the blood getting in the, drugging the water supply, the blood getting in the water she did it with Obama and the birth certificate, though she claims it wasn't her and she's got all the media, backing her on that. It did come from one of her staffers. That's where the birtherism originally came from. So for her to do it again with, giving Tulsi the scarlet letter, it's what the Clintons do. So, and of course the media is going to run with it and, paint that narrative. And the average people are just going to be like, oh, I remember something about her being pro-Assad too. So, yeah, that tracks. And,
Yeah, they know that Russia trends in their base. That's just a given. What's the contingent of the Democrats still convinced Donald Trump colluded with Russia? You're not going to dissuade those people. So once they came up with that bogus story that, at debate nights, Tulsi spiked in Google searches, and then somebody supposedly did a track on it and found that most of those came from Russian troll farms, and clearly she's backed by the Russians, and she's a Russian plant, so now she's Russian. And, that core of the base is going to eat that up.
Yeah, we covered that on Cyber Wars. That was Carolyn Orr who started that rumor.
Yep.
And, but yeah, so that's, and what I find funny about the Democrats, and Russia is that all of us are old enough to remember when they were pro-Russia. Mm-hmm. So, and now they're against it. It's like, pick a team and stick with it, guys.
Well, yeah, it was fine when Obama was sitting down with Putin, and it was okay when Hillary did the reset button with Russia and wanted to just be best buddies with them. But then
and it was okay when Ted Kennedy courted them to help defeat Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why I wonder how many of them actually believe it. So, do they actually believe this? Can they logically work this out in their mind? Or does it not matter because Hillary said it? Or is it?
We see it on social media all the time where you could be talking about some arcane political subject and you'll start getting responses like, okay, whatever Russian bot, okay, whatever Putin tells you to do. And there is that contingent. They have those people that just default Trump equals Russia, despite the fact that, he's actively taking steps against Russia in his presidency.
Well, he did.
We can't acknowledge those somehow.
Well, the thing is that he takes steps against anyone who does not do what he believes is in our best interest, in the best interest of this country. He doesn't care who you are. He treats our country like he treats his companies. It's basically, Ordy, I'm gonna need a disclaimer on this one.
The following program contains adult language or coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
It's like, if you fuck with me, if you fuck with us, I'm going to take you down. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you were my best friend last week. You fuck with what's mine and I'll take you down. That is Trump. Has always been Trump. Trump has never been anything different. He treats his country like he has always treated his companies.
And that makes sense. I mean,
live update from RCP is in the second round with 2% reporting. We've got Buttigieg in the lead with 1532, Sanders behind with 1516, Warren with 1332, Klobuchar with 581, and Biden with 693. Oof.
Joe's not doing real well.
He's, it was his to lose and he lost it. It really was.
I mean, it's just amazing to me because Sanders, Warren, Klobuchar were in D.C. for 2 weeks. They could not campaign on the ground ahead of this vote. And he had free reign. He could go wherever he wanted. He could dominate. I mean, he would get play on the local news just by showing up, because they don't have anything but B-roll for the rest of the candidates. It's him and Buttigieg out there flipping pork chops or whatever they do at the, state fairs and such. It's
tossing
all him.
cornholes.
Yeah, he's going to the diners. He's serving food. He's getting airplay in Iowa where the others are not. And for him to screw that up is amazing.
A solid 2 weeks. You're right. No, he squandered 2 weeks of, what he could have done in 2 weeks by defending his dirtbag son in the media instead.
Right, yeah.
And punching out anybody who questioned him.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see him on the Today Show? No, he got combative with the Today Show when they asked him about Hunter.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I did see that, actually. Yeah, I was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
What does he...
Yeah, he went full Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
I did see that clip. That was brutal.
But, who does he think he is, Hillary? Like, nobody's going to ask him the hard questions?
Apparently. I think he's probably been speaking with DNC leadership and all of the primary Democrat donors. So he's feeling like he's insulated.
Yeah, because
he's in that slot that she occupied, and he's protected as a result.
Yep.
Except he's not.
No, he's not.
And that's just it, because, the media themselves, they're flying cover for Warren. They're looking at Biden now as like, you cost us the impeachment with your scumbag son. So, he's not going to have the most favored status. There's not enough hot sauce in the world for him to carry in his purse.
Well, the only thing is, though, you can't lay that in Joe's feet, because the only reason his son is in the news right now is because of this impeachment sham going on with Ukraine. They brought this out.
Yeah, it's a chicken and the egg thing.
I mean, that story was always sitting there, but the only reason it's out now is because the party leadership insisted upon this.
Yep. And you really got to blame, if you ultimately want to go back, you have to blame the squad. Because they are the ones who forced Nancy into the whole impeachment thing.
Yeah, I mean, she was kicking and screaming. I mean, even when Schiff was taking this up, she was still verbally saying, no, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So something turned. I don't know if it was DNC leadership or Maybe the candidates themselves said we need this, but at some point in time, she was brought on board, and that was the only real reason this went forward. I mean, there were a handful of major players that wanted this, but she kept pushing the brake on it and saying, no, guys, not good. This isn't going to work for us. Polling, yada, yada. I mean, she had all the explanations. So when she signed on for it, yeah, they went full throttle. And, I mean, I've written about this a number of times. This has been a complete shotgun blast in the foot by the Democrats. They ran into this, which was not a good process to begin with. The timing of it was abysmal because of Iowa. I called all this mess in November.
Right.
You know, I said, if you guys don't wrap this up soon, then all Mitch McConnell has to do is sit on it for a week or two. Well, he didn't even have to because they sat on it for 3 or 4 weeks. By the time they gave it to Mitch, he was just grinning ear to ear and said, perfect. We'll start it on January, let's just say the 12th or something like that. Yeah, that's a couple of weeks before Iowa. And all of a sudden they were gobsmacked. Wait, we have to leave the campaign trail to go do this? Yes, we do. Because of your party. You insisted upon this. And look what's happened. They gummed up the works, and Bernie, his results benefited tremendously.
You have to wonder. I mean, as much as we don't like her, we all have to admit that Nancy Pelosi is a brilliant political tactician.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have to wonder, since she got drug into this impeachment thing, you think maybe she held it up just as the final fuck you? So you made me do this. And here's what, I'm going to play this game.
No, I think that, and I'm not the first person to say this, but I think that it was what some people have floated is exactly what I believe, and I don't know who to attribute this to because I have no idea the first place that I heard it, but they rushed it, trying to get it in before the primary started. Right, so they wanted, they expected the Senate trial to be a little bit longer. Well, once the articles were passed, Mitch McConnell said, Cocaine Mitch said, yeah, that's fine. We're going to ram it through. It's going to take a couple of weeks. And they said, oh shit, then that's not going to work with our timeline. So she held on to them until she could assure that the senators running against Joe Biden would be stuck in the Senate for the closest possible time frame to that, particularly Warren and Sanders, I think. And even more so, Sanders. So from that perspective, yeah, I think that was a final fuck you. So to the squad, who have all come out for either Warren or Sanders, mostly for Sanders. She said, I'm going to keep your boy here in Washington for for as long as I can before the caucus and make sure that Biden wins. Well, it failed, but yeah, I think that's what she was doing.
Possibly, but this is something else I had written on, was once it got to the Senate in January, they were the ones calling for witnesses. They wanted the Senate to bail them out because of their garbage process that they had in the House and didn't come up with enough concrete evidence. If they had gone through with the witness calling in Senate, this would occupy probably most of February, where you got Sanders already in the lead in Iowa. He's a slam dunk in New Hampshire. I mean, his lead in New Hampshire is like 35-18 right now.
Yeah, the most current numbers from the Boston Herald PPU has Sanders at 31, Biden at 24.
No, so that's narrowed a little. But if this had dragged out long enough, this would have impacted California. And you've got all those senators still in Washington, unable to campaign in California with that crap ton of delegates available. And if Sanders,
we've got our primaries coming up in March.
Yeah, I think it's March 2, I want to say. So if they had taken witnesses, they'd still be sitting in Washington. And Sanders and Biden, I think, are dead heat in your state right now.
Yeah, I think that Pelosi. Well, and I think that Pelosi though knew that wasn't going to happen. That they were never going to get the votes for that. But yeah, you're right. So she was faced with those two scenarios. Either at least we keep them, out of the campaign, out of the the contact with the people for the last 2 weeks of Iowa, or best case scenario, we get witnesses and we keep them out of the primaries up to California. So,
Boy,
and that's
they could have stretched this out like 99, and they could have had witnesses in the Senate forever. They could have had them in there for days.
But they weren't going to get that. The only thing that surprised me about that is that they actually got a couple of Republicans to vote for that, and no Democrat voted against it. And what they were doing, I know this isn't an impeachment show, but what they were doing would have set precedent and changed the process in the worst possible way forever, or for a while anyway. I mean, they were trying to put the Chief Justice in the position of being an actual judge and making judicial decisions that he's never been in the position of making, that it's never been intended for him to be in the position of making. I mean, there's so many things like that they were trying to do with the process that there was absolutely no precedent for in the past, that there's actually no valid constitutional argument for, from my perspective and from most constitutional scholars' perspective. It was total insanity what they were trying to do with the process. And I think that has a lot to do with why they handled the case the way they did in the House. It wasn't just because that's how they wanted to handle it. I think they were truly trying to change the entire process for impeachment for, decades to come. But that's just me. Anyway, this is not an impeachment show. Sorry.
Well, actually, I think impeachment's going to be tied in with this because of just how much it influenced what's going on tonight.
Yeah,
the actual repercussions that we're watching live in Iowa right now because of it. And, it's like we talked about how Biden, missed the opportunity, and despite no matter how much money Bloomberg spent, he only got 97 votes in the first round.
So he hasn't even campaigned in Iowa at all.
He would have been better off probably doing the populist thing and making himself a victim and saying, it's a witch hunt. I haven't done anything wrong and they're out to get me. And they just, playing the victim rather than trying to play the corn pop.
He didn't have to spend any money in Iowa, though. I haven't been able to watch a YouTube video in a month and a half that didn't have Bloomberg in my face.
That's true.
But I think it kind of indicates how he is, as we've been alluding to, working in conjunction with the party. They want him in place there. And for him, again, with senators pulled out of Iowa, why wouldn't he be campaigning there?
Right.
Outside of the fact that he can buy airtime and doesn't have to hit the streets.
Yeah, and I don't even think he had a ground game in Iowa.
Mm-mm.
So
they haven't been working there at all. They're concentrating he's doing work in New Hampshire, and I guess the big seven that are coming up are his focus. But with the Democrats placing him on the debate, that kind of gave him the advantage that he didn't have to work hard in Iowa.
Jeff, you mentioned Steyer in the chat. He got 127 in the first round, so he actually beat Bloomberg by 30. And I forgot Steyer was still in the race.
I keep forgetting a lot of them are still in the race, to be honest. I say that 2 or 3 times a day. He's
still in there. He got 1. Bennett got 8. Delaney got 0. Why is Delaney? I thought Delaney dropped out.
Yeah, he did.
But he's got 0. Okay, well that explains why he got 0. But he's still on the big card there.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Field, though, for them.
Yeah.
They just don't have this squared away like they should, and I think impeachment's a large reason for it. These also-rans have a lot more traction. I mean, Buttigieg has got to be benefiting.
They have more reason to. I think they have more reason to stick it out, and I think that's just what I was thinking. Is that you're right about impeachment is going to impact everything all the way through November. It is because they tied it in with the election, and they can't and they're not going to let go of it. It's just going to go right back to the House. They're going to start it all over again. They are way too invested in this, and it is their only hope, Obi-Wan.
Well, you talked about Buttigieg benefiting. He is only 80 points behind Warren right now, in third place.
Yeah, and he's beating Biden. So
he's got double Biden.
So yeah, he's clearly the benefactor where it should have been. This should have been a layup for Biden. This should have just been his launching pad here. Win easily, control the party, go forward, de facto nomination. And combination of him screwing things up, probably 60% of it, but also 30% being what came out of the impeachment, his name constantly dragged up, his kid constantly dragged up, even if they didn't get called witnesses, he's being smeared as a result.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else funny about tonight that's kind of set a precedent for what, and it goes right back to election interference and technology, and we are going to have Ordy, the best time on Cyber Wars, covering every security snafu that happens in every primary from now until August or whenever they're over. I mean, there's going to be convention snafus, security snafus, post-convention voter day snafus. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, this is as we get more connected and as the internet becomes a larger part of the voting process. The whole irony of this is the same people who think, well, we should be able to vote at home on our computers are the same people who screech about interference in elections, electronic interference in elections, and hacking. And, it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't have the convenience of voting on your television like you're in an episode of The Outer Limits and then complain when the security falls the hell apart on it.
Right.
Well, yeah, look at all the times they complain about any kind of supposed malfeasance in the voting process. It's always aimed at the GOP. The Republicans always supposedly rig elections, fix voting machines, do what they can to screw the process up electronically. And yet, look what's taking place right now in Iowa. They can't count a caucus electronically, and there's absolutely zero way you can blame this on the GOP.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And the funny thing about that, too, is the three manufacturers of the voting machines that we use in the United States, all those companies are heavy Democratic donors. So that is just, it's all part of the bullshit narrative. I mean, we watch narratives form in real time, but Diebold and the other companies who I'm drawing a blank on right now who make the machines are heavy Democratic voters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As contributors. So
how did they square that with the Reynolds Wrap hat
conspiracy
they draw up that GOP is behind?
It doesn't
matter. It's a lie wrapped in a narrative, surrounded in a hard, crunchy bunch of bullshit.
I knew we were going to need that disclaimer. Yeah, absolutely. And there is one other aspect to this. And but there's several other aspects of it. But, I mean, part of it is the lazy, useless bureaucracy that we've seen, the information on them and the whistleblowing and insider information on them kind of float to the top over the years where, all these unskilled bureaucratic workers have no idea what they're doing. Well, all those people are Democrats. That's number one, or most of them. Republicans, and I know this from experience, they get security, and it's no different than national security. They get information security, just like national security, better than Democrats do. The other thing is they care, right? So sometimes I think that it's actually a matter of we don't give a shit about security, because if it goes wrong, we're just going to blame it on the GOP and say that, they undermined it in some way. Whereas the GOP is like, you're not getting our shit. We're going to harden it and tighten it, and you're not going to touch it because we don't want you to have it. We don't want our emails floated to WikiLeaks. We don't want everything from inside our organization leaked. We don't care if it would be convenient to blame it on you and a great narrative for us to write. We don't want it to happen. So we're going to spend the money and the extra time and effort and hire the right people to make sure that it doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to it. Some of it's I don't care. Some of it's really just putting the time and the money into making sure that the security is tight, because you get security. You know what I mean?
Well, this is what I have to laugh about anytime they start complaining about GOP rigging electronic elections, when you've got whose emails are floating around out there? The DNCs, because they got hacked via their email system. Who had the illegal server sitting in her bathroom? Hillary.
Well, exactly.
And
that's the I don't care
from
part.
Broward County, Florida. You want to talk about screwing up elections electronically? We have made a cottage industry out of it. And guess what? Our county elector board has been Democrat for decades.
Dude, Broward County couldn't get punch cards right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're not going to get computer voting right.
Technically we got it right if they had followed election law, but they didn't. That's the whole thing. But we just had during the 2008 recount. Our statewide elections were close enough for senator and for governor, and they had to do mandatory recounts. Every county in the state had to do it because it was statewide elections. And Broward County supposedly is on the cutting edge with precinct technology. We're supposed to have one of the most advanced voting precincts. We were the last one to get the recount completed, and this is despite the fact that the Panhandle had been smacked by a hurricane and had precincts closed because of that. They got their recount somehow taken care of. Ours was the last one finished, and then they went to go submit it, and they found out that the GOP governor and the GOP senator actually picked up a few hundred extra votes. And lo and behold, we had a problem submitting it on the website, and it got submitted 2 minutes after deadline, so they had to revert to the prior count. But the GOP, understand, always hacks elections.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the party that isn't supposed to be that tech savvy hacks elections.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, if you want to take any narrative, you'll find both sides. They're always talking about both sides of their mouth on it. It's that the thing we always talk about on social media is, well, which is it? Is Trump an idiot, or is he a genius playing four-dimensional chess? Because you can't have it both ways. But
Well, they did the same thing with George Bush too. He was the dumbest president ever elected to office, but somehow he fooled 98% of Congress and 36 of our allies with a lie.
Right. Well, that was Cheney. That wasn't Bush. Fuck off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anytime I think of Cheney, I think of that American Dad when he was defibbing himself at a fair. It was a carnival. It was a carnival thing. Defib Dick Cheney. It was a CIA fair. Defib Dick Cheney. And he just said, I'll do it myself.
I can see that. He's the contemporary G. Gordon Liddy.
Correct.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, RCP hasn't had an update in about a half hour, which is weird. It's still only 2% reporting.
Klobuchar looks awful happy
right now, and they still haven't had a delay. It's going so bad now that Fox News has Amy Klobuchar speaking.
Wow. I mean, speak softly and carry a big binder.
I guess.
Yeah. They'll eventually, if this keeps up, they will have Steyer and Bennett on.
I'm just waiting for Amy to say there's been everything's been delayed, so everybody want to go in the back and get more salad, you can.
So did they mention if the delay is because of the apps that aren't working?
I got the mute on. I'm just looking at Chirons here. But it just said a mid-result delay.
And that would probably be it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they were counting on the apps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they were counting on those to get the vote in, and that was, like, they didn't have a backup plan. You know they didn't have a backup plan.
Yikes. I mean,
right? I mean, come on. Holler if you think they had a backup plan.
No, they obviously didn't. They never would.
Right. They had no backup plan.
Right now, it looks like amid all the delays and waiting, Buttigieg is the only one who is gaining votes.
And that's still not really going to square too well with the DNC, I'm sure, but at least it's not Bernie, maybe?
Yeah, it's, with the final alignment of the first round, you've got Buttigieg with 27%, Sanders with 26%, Warren with 20%, and Biden with 13%, Klobuchar 11%.
Yeah, and she's really happy about it, by the way.
She's still in it?
Yes, she is tickled to death. She's making a speech right now to her supporters, and she is over the moon with her 11%.
I've never understood this about her. I mean, I did an article, I think, in the summer about all the crazy-ass products all the candidates had on their website available for purchase. She's got this weird color scheme where half her stuff is green, half is blue, and anything else is white. Like, she's got no theme. Well, watch when the crowd waves up the banners. You'll see cards that are green, some are dark blue, some are white. What is going on?
Graphic design is her passion.
Her suit is red. So it looks like Christmas at her rally right now because all of the people standing behind her are wearing green and her dress is red.
With a blue backdrop.
With a blue backdrop, exactly. It's Christmas. It's Christmas in Clubbyland.
So we have people who don't understand how the Iowa caucus works. Somebody complaining in Des Moines Precinct 80 that Bernie's group had 101 people, Pete's group had 66. They end up tied with 4 delegates, and they're doing the coin toss. So people are complaining about how this is not democracy.
It's not democracy. The Iowa caucus is in my mind, it is the furthest thing from democracy. That there's two things with the Iowa caucus. If people in other countries only pay attention to like the first thing that happens in our elections, they think we're all friggin' nuts. It is, if you've ever read the book The Lottery, this is the political version of it. If you've never read the book, then look up the Cliff Notes because I'm not going to explain it on the air. But it's morbid. But the other thing is, I'm really glad that it happens first and we get it out of the way. If it was anywhere else in the process, we just have to dread it. It's insane. It really is. And the coin toss is like the most insane thing about it.
Hey, Jeff, I just saw you post that, so I'm going to announce it real quick because this would be Cyber Wars time slot. For the next 9 hours and 40 minutes, NordVPN is 70% off. Sorry. Go on.
Do what?
This segment brought to you by NordVPN.
The only thing I could really compare this caucus to would be the Academy Award voting for Best Picture. They have some kind of bizarre count process where the membership, I guess they vote for the top 3 movies, like the one they think is Best Picture is number 1, and then a 2 and a 3. They do a first tabulation, and they make piles on which one's got the most. Then they do take any that didn't get the winning votes and recount those based on second and third place. And they do like 3 or 4 counts like this. And there's actually a possibility of the movie winning Best Picture not having the most first place votes. Because if, say, like 30% voted a movie as the best, and the remaining 70% didn't have enough of that one placed second or third, then the ones that got...
See, you can't even explain it. Even someone who knows as much about it as you do can't explain it.
Morality.
Yeah. Even someone who knows as much about it as Brad can't explain it. And it's like that, even with as many times as I've heard people like Chris Direwalt or I don't even Luntz, I can't remember his first name, the RPC guy, explain the Iowa caucus and how it works. And I know about the coin toss and some of the key aspects of it. I really can't, like, every year I see something that I'm like, wait, what? When did they start doing that? Well, the answer is they've always done that. But it's
the 1800s.
Right. It's so convoluted that there's nobody even tries to explain the whole thing in one sitting or in 1 year even.
I mean, that's the Academy Award example is pretty much prime that I can tell you. Like, let's just say you had a candidate with 20% and another one with 18, and you had enough of those available voters that were in the sub 15% range. Enough of them could join the 18% candidate, and they could actually exceed the amount of votes, even though they didn't initially get more votes. So, let's just say like Tom Steyer's people all decided they were going to throw in with Buttigieg in second place. Then he would end, even though he had 18% to 20, he would end up with more votes and be declared the winner in that precinct.
Okay, this is hilarious. According to Google right now, in the Republican primary in the Iowa caucuses, 87% reporting. In the Democrat primary, 0% reporting. Our app's broke.
the top aide for Senator Warren says, with every passing minute that there is a delay, we worry about the process will lose credibility. You think?
You think?
That's somebody
Maybe.
with their knee on the pulse of the situation.
Yeah.
and apparently, I'm reading from the Daily Caller right now, an Iowa precinct secretary was on the phone with CNN, got off hold with the Iowa Democratic Party to report his results, and was hung up on.
Wait, say that again, Ordy.
Apparently, an Iowa precinct secretary was on the phone with CNN. He got off hold with the Iowa Democratic Party to report the results of his precinct and was hung up on. And this is a thing that just occurred on live television.
Oh my gosh.
So phone communication is beyond their ken.
Yeah. And
I'm really glad that I gave up waiting for my ISP to come on and do this, because this is a comedy of errors that I would not want to miss.
No, honestly. This is not something that would be. So we have 538 has some estimates. I don't know where they're getting them from, because the first 4 sites that I checked have like 0%, literally 0% reporting.
Man.
I mean, it's crazy. 5 minutes ago, CNN, 5 minutes ago, 0% reporting. It's too funny.
Blitzer is looking lost and dyspeptic right now.
Yeah.
I
think the
I've
sites
got to be
that
so completely disheartened with what has been a naked Chinese fire drill of a primary run to this point. To have it, okay, the rubber's meeting the road. We're at the Iowa caucuses.
NBC News isn't even trying to guess at what's going on. There's no numbers on their site. Right? I mean, it's like, okay, take the numbers down because this looks really bad.
Okay, I do want to say what happened. I told you guys before we went on the air, at one of the GOP caucus events, Matt Walsh was there pleading his case. And he said, do all of you want another 4 years of Donald Trump? And he was interrupted by the cheering crowd.
Chris Hayes tweeted, I know, that's awesome, right? Chris Hayes said, never use an app for a thing that can be done without an app. You know, Chris, it's one time that I agree with you. One time.
I mean, just to put it in perspective and not to make fun of the people of Iowa, but this is almost as if they gave people corn cobs and said, go in there and throw them in a bucket in there for your vote. And then they got the results of the buckets and tried to take a digital photo and send that to the Capitol and speed that process up.
Oh, goodness. And then, okay, here's another NBC. The headlines on NBC, you guys go to NBC.com and look at their Iowa caucus headlines because they're awesome. Here's another one. How coin tosses, yes, really, are used in Iowa's caucuses.
But it's not. This seems perfectly normal to people like us here. Where, I mean, we watch it in Virginia. A lot of states have that rule where there's the saying, came down to a coin toss. So in politics, it's not that uncommon. It's just the Dems aren't used to it. They're just used to, even when they have, they're not used to having a big field like this. They're suffering what we went through in the last election, but we did it 2 elections in a row.
Right.
With just a ridiculous amount of people in the clown car. But, the Dems are used to only having maybe a handful, maybe 3 or 4 to choose from. When you have a field like this, they don't, all of a sudden, what real politics are comes to the forefront. And they don't understand that the rubes and flyover country are perfectly comfortable doing things like this. And this is going to be the kind of thing that you can just see the expert Tom Nichols railing about tomorrow on Twitter.
Probably won't. But why would they rail about it now? I mean, the Iowa caucuses have always been this way. They've always been just this way. And one of the reasons that they are this way is that they've been this way forever, and nobody there is willing to change them. They're perfectly happy with them, the way that they are.
And it works. It has always worked. It has worked 100% of the time.
Well,
until you tried to make an app for it.
Well, that's true. Until they tried to change it and make an app for it. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I think is happening here is you're getting that elitist mentality coming in where they're saying, we know how to make this better. We know how to fix this. Well, it really wasn't broken. Trust us on this. We know what we're going to do. And look where we're at.
We're from the DNC. We're here to help.
10:30 Iowa time, and they don't have results 1 in. Where normally, this is usually where the candidates are celebrating.
Well, they're making their speeches now.
Right, and that's what I'm...
Because they plan to make their speeches now, because it should be over. But at 10:41, NBC was reporting that it was too close to call.
Well, yeah, if everybody's at 0...
What? Yeah, that's actually pretty close, but that's not the reason that they can't call it. But that's nice spin anyway, NBC. So, I mean, that's like, they spun that really well for the for the Democrats. It doesn't have anything to do with how close it is, but whatever.
I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful way to kick off the 2020 election because And this is all I've seen from the Democrats for the last few months, and this is just a
Woo,
perfect.
USA Today is reporting that it's quality control that's causing the delays.
David Axelrod cringe actually made a good point. Who knows where in the pack that Amy Klobuchar finished up today, but the way events have conspired and transpired, she gets to come out with a victory speech like she was a winner.
Sure. I mean,
oh, man. You couldn't write this stuff. You could not write this stuff. This is like Monty Python does elections.
Yeah, the Iowa caucuses are going as well for the Dems as the impeachment did.
Well,
this is just amazing.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Trump did pretty well, and miraculously at 88% reporting now. See, we just went like 15 minutes, still nothing from the Democrats, but the Republicans had a whole nother percent come in. Go figure. He's at 97%. Good job, Mr. Trump. He got a whole nother vote. He got another delegate.
And I think I saw one result from a precinct on the GOP side. It was Trump had something like 97%, Walsh had 1%, and undecided got more than Walsh.
Other candidates. What I'm looking at says other candidates. Yeah. So. What I'm looking at said other candidates. That's where you can go in. This is something. See, this is what I found out this year that I had never known before. Any random person, I guess, can go into a caucus and create an independent party. Or an independent candidate or something like that.
Okay, yeah. It's starting to come out that this is Robbie Mook's app. He developed the app. If you don't know who Robbie Mook is, he was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. So this is perfect.
That is perfect. Yeah, because he is. He's got a lot of stuff behind him. He was also involved in Obamacare, the Obamacare website, was he not?
I'm not 100% sure of that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Are you kidding me?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Statement from the Iowa Democratic Party. We found inconsistencies in the reporting of 3 sets of results. In addition to the text systems being used to tabulate results, we are also using photos of results and the paper trail to validate all the results match and ensure we have confidence and accuracy in the numbers we report. This is simply a reporting issue. The app did not go down, and there was not a hack or an intrusion. The underlying data and paper trail is sound and will completely take time to further report the results.
I'm less convinced of that than if they had said the fax machine ran out of toner.
Right. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
That's...
I mean, if they're saying, like, oh, this is just a formality, it's digital. It should be a snap. And if you've got photo backup evidence for a paper trail, that should be digitized and sent instantly.
Right.
I mean, if you're taking photos of the paper trail, it should be like, okay, well, this app is shit, but let's, count it up. How do you screw this up? This is a system that has worked forever.
Right. So that's the thing right there.
Never mind. Robbie Mook.
Exactly. They transitioned their entire system to an app. They did not. So, Ordy, you know how this works. The first year, it's a redundancy. It's not a transition. You don't transition like when you have a 24 or a 12-hour process like this, where you have one day basically to get it done and get it right. It's a one-day thing. You don't transition the whole process the first year. You do them. You do them in parallel, right?
Or if anything, you would have used this as a background thing. It's like, okay, we're gonna be trying it with this app, but we're gonna do it the normal way.
But yeah, you're gonna do both.
In the next election, you're like, okay, we're gonna do select precincts, and then the rest of the state will do it. Yeah, you don't roll this out in a couple weeks. And
No.
you sure as hell don't let the person who couldn't figure out where Wisconsin was do it.
Yep. Yeah.
This is just beautiful stuff. If this is the same guy that was attached to the Obamacare website, don't tell me anything further than that.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but I think
but that is too perfect of a story to even screw up with research. That is just brilliant.
I'm looking right now.
Yes, I am.
No, there's puff piece.
Yeah, I don't see him attached.
I don't
to
see
it.
anything. I don't see anything with the ACA website. So we're gonna pull that one off. But I mean, come on, he was Clinton's campaign manager. That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, well, he's been running his mouth a lot about in the past, at least since 2016. I think before that, about election integrity and electronic voting and hackers in elections.
I love ironic Twitter.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Well, since we don't have results, RCP's still stuck at 1.93% reporting.
No, this is just beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. That they can't even launch their campaigns correctly. I mean, bring more of this on. This is going to be so much fun. I've been saying since last summer that this election season was going to be a blast, and I think a clown car going off a bridge and blowing up is the perfect way to start things off.
Are you not entertained?
I mean, we've got, Hillary just had a new documentary out at Sundance too. If they have their campaigns go this sideways because of technical issues, I almost wonder if they're trying to grease it so that she'll have to come in and rescue the party. Granted, we broke it, but I'm here to help.
Right. I'm from the Clinton Global Foundation. I'm here to help.
Right. Yeah, sure you are. That's like, I'm from the Atlantic
Remember
Council.
Haiti?
Yeah, exactly. I'm from the Atlantic Council. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why is Wolf Butcher trending?
What?
Is he having a meltdown? Yeah.
Probably.
Oh. So apparently, more on that is the precinct secretary who was on the phone with CNN took too long with Wolf Blitzer, so the Democratic Party hung up on her. Anyway, so that's all tied in with the, trying to report their results and getting hung up on. After he was on hold for an hour.
0% reporting.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
And the other thing, too, is that the other bad news for the Democrats on the fundraising front, cash on hand starting off in January. Sanders has $18.2 million in the bank. Biden has $8.9. How does that happen? I mean,
well, most of that was all, like last time with Bernie, all $5 and $10 donations too. So,
right, but that's the thing is he's got that groundswell support. Biden is the one that's tapped into the party donors.
Yeah, you just don't have the confidence in him.
He should be flush. And, I mean, he's trailing Warren. He's trailing Buttigieg. I mean, this is embarrassing what's going on with Biden in just a month.
And we said this in our debate shows. Whoever put Biden in and is keeping him in, at this point, it's just elder abuse.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
No, it really is.
I mean, he could have got out as just an elder statesman, made his occasional appearance. He could have been another Carter, but only as vice president. And he would have been well respected in the party. Now he's going out there. He's pissing off Bernie bros. He's pissing off the Hillbots. He's pissing off everybody else. He's pissing off the DNC because he's failing so bad when they put all their faith in him. He's actually getting in fist fights with voters. So, yeah, here we are.
And I mean, I got to throw the blame on that on Hillary, because after 2 terms of Obama, that's Biden's term to step in. And that's when he was sharp still. He was riding on coattails. He had every reason to be, and he had to have been squelched by the Hillary camp.
Well, I mean, his son had recently died too, but I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
That, you know, he said he didn't want to run in 16, and you have to wonder how much of that was honest and how much of that was Hillary demanding, no, it's my turn.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm leaning, is on the latter, because if he didn't want to run 4 years ago, what's the motivation to run now? You know, when he doesn't have that momentum behind him and doesn't have the donor base. You know, he had to. The only reason he said he stepped in this time was because he had to be convinced to. You know, he claimed that, you know, he wasn't going to do it unless he got out there and talked to the money people and enough of them were going to be on his side. And they basically said, yeah, we're behind you, Joe. You got to do this. We need you in the race. And was convinced basically to run this time. So I don't get it.
Where's Warren at financially? Because I know that Harris was getting all the Hollywood money. It had to have kicked over to her, didn't it?
She and Buttigieg are right about there, 14, 15 million or so. But they're 12, a little bit. I mean, Bernie is easily ahead, and Joe Biden's in single digits. That's just odd to me.
Yeah, and Warren is sinking. I mean, yeah, this is this is going to be a fiasco. I mean, I don't see anybody, even with them rigging it so Bloomberg can get in. I mean, Trump already took the first shots at Bloomberg making fun of his height. He didn't even, you know, he didn't even get his first nationwide ad out of the Super Bowl before Trump was swinging at him. So, and then he got a Acosta, or was it Acosta or was it Seltzer? Somebody was defending it like, well, James Madison,
oh yeah, that was
architect of the Acosta. James Madison, the architect of the Constitution, was 5'4". Well,
Like I said, why is he height shaming our founders?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's.
But Brian Stelter actually went the Snopes on Babylon Bee version. He actually fact checked it. We spoke to the Bloomberg camp, and they said definitively he's not standing on apple boxes at events or at debates. You dumbass. Really.
Yeah. They fall for it 100% of the time.
Okay.
Really
Every time they fall for it.
Every time. They can't help themselves.
Yep.
It was Jim Treacher even like ribbed him. He's like, wow, that's some great work, Brian. Well done. And he's like, and Stelter actually said, well, are you saying that we shouldn't listen to every single word the president said?
No, he said, so you don't think we should be covering Trump? Yeah, Tater, that's not what he was saying.
And Treacher was like, no, Brian, I want you to keep doing exactly what you're doing.
I know, that was funny. That was good. That was good, JT. Support. Yeah. Yeah.
And, that speaks to, again, what we're talking about with the Iowa caucus tonight. The various and sundry failures of the Iowa Democrats and the DNC in general, the media in their tripping over to excuse the various and sundry failures of the Democratic Party, and just you're right. It's going to be a fantastic year. Give me all of it. Put it straight into my veins.
Well, it's just like, exactly. It's just like this is socialism, ladies and gentlemen. The Republican Party, 89% reporting. The Democrat Party, 0% reporting. This is life under socialism.
Yeah, except you don't have the means to have an electronic device to tabulate via an app.
Well, the party would.
Oh, well, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'd be doing it on gateway computers, but they'd be
I
getting
miss
it done
those
eventually.
cows.
I miss cow boxes. I
Mhm.
really do. And cow books.
Yeah, cow books were awesome.
But no, I don't know. This is I don't know how they could fail. Every day is a new series of failures that amazes me, and I think that we keep reaching peak failure, but apparently that's a challenge.
Yeah,
You can't fail any harder than this. Watch us.
I mean,
You think we can't watch?
this is to the point of just dumbfounding me. It's like, how do you even comment any further than the fact they have 0 precincts reporting at midnight, my time?
I do not have enough hands to hold all these beers.
Exactly. Hold my beer. Yeah, you think we can't screw it worse than that? We got hacked last year. You think that was the best we can do? Hold my beer.
We're going to let the guy who ran Hillary's campaign into the dirt develop an app.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, and we're gonna put the guys that clicked the link and got fished and exposed our entire network to the Russians. We're gonna put them on the convention committees. That's gonna be great.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's astounding.
It is astounding.
It's a dumpster fire. It really is. It's just...
It is a dump truck fire rolling through a snowstorm.
Yeah, have you seen the GIF of the truck that's on? The cargo is on fire as it's racing down a muddy road
Somewhere in India. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's my favorite dumpster fire.
And I forgot all about Liz Warren because, with the impeachment going on, I haven't heard her for the longest time. And I saw her speaking today, and it just hit me that she always, if you're not watching and everything, just hear her in the background. She always sounds like a woman that's reporting to a policeman that she just had her purse snatched. She just has that nervous, and he was really, really tall, and he came up and said it, but she's talking policy when she does this. It's bizarre. Once I was like, she sounds like a victim when she's telling me, I'm here to invest in you, and I want to, see for your future. Wow. I mean, she's sliding down the hill fast.
I cannot find a single thing about Warren anywhere. I'm going through the Iowa Caucus hashtag, and I cannot find anybody mentioning Warren at all. All I see, I'm seeing a lot of cartoons of Hillary sitting on the couch eating a bowl of popcorn with a grin on her face. Hillary watching the shit show that's the Iowa caucuses. Yeah. So, anyway. We got 99 counties and the results of none.
I don't even...
But,
and it's amazing to me how much this field has changed just in 2 months. And we're not in election season yet. 2 months ago, they had 24 candidates, but the field looked like it was pretty well organized. We had maybe the top 6 figured out. Everybody was chasing Biden, trying to get their traction on him. And Biden is now completely melting down. Bernie Sanders is running the show. Liz Warren is fading fast. And Pete Buttigieg, of all people, seems to be surging.
And it to me, it's just another example of the chaos that comes to socialism. I'm sorry it is.
Biden just gave a speech. The Iowa Dem Party is working to get these results straight, and I want to be sure that they're very careful in their deliberations. Deliberations?
Deliberations?
Is that the word you bet to use?
Yeah.
Woo, lad!
Yeah,
exactly. They were supposed to be just counting.
He is the king of the Freudian slips, is he not? Yeah, he is.
Meanwhile, his campaign sent apparently a strongly worded letter to the Iowa Democratic Party about considerable flaws in the reporting system. You
I'm
think?
sure.
Thanks,
See,
Joe.
that's the part I always love is when anything like if there's a recount or anything of that nature taking place where the candidates have to come out and make a declaration of what's already taking place. Because in, for instance, in Florida here, when our elections are within 2% range, there's an automatic recount, and whoever's in second place inevitably will come out and say, I just want to go on the record and say that I recommend that we do recounts, and I think that every vote should be heard.
Well,
we've already started it. Thank you.
Well, let's recap. Let's recap a bit, right? So when we started this show, Ordy, you were seeing results in places. Have they taken?
Yeah, that was the first. It was the first round results. The first round results went through. It's the second round results. When Brad was explaining the process, to where they'll go and they'll stand everybody up, and then they'll take those who don't make the cut. Then the people who were supporting that candidate reallocate to the next one, and this is the second round.
Well, the sites that I looked at, those aren't even showing up anymore. So, like, NBC has it broken down into the different rounds, right? If they had those results reported at one point, they've taken them down. They're not there.
Oh, no, that's it. I mean, RCP still has it up.
Okay.
538 has completely nuked the page.
Wow.
Let me go back and check, but...
Because I also think those first numbers were probably coming in because they had reporters in different cities. And, I saw those percentages going up on the initial. There was one, I think it was Cedar Rapids, where they said they had 5 candidates were lining up to clear that 15 percentile range. Well, we've never seen this before. This is amazing. It's historic. So I think
this is a
had
jaw drop.
That first vote on site counted. It's the secondary, some reason, is not coming through.
What a fiasco! This is a jaw dropper. This is like this night. Like it feels like the first night we bombed Iraq in the first Gulf War. It's just like we're what? Wait, what? What's happening? Yeah. Hold on. Let me wrap my head around this.
Live radio. Okay, 538's analysis is back up. They're resuming live tweeting, and basically everything is just saying, it's a shit show.
Well, yep, that's pretty accurate.
Leslie Nielsen is in front of the fireworks factory telling everybody to calm down.
Exactly. Nothing to see here.
I see one headline that says a coin toss gives Klobuchar the edge over Warren in one caucus site.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. Not much else to talk about here.
Not really.
Yeah. I think maybe we'll resume. Maybe we'll conclude our Iowa caucus coverage for tonight and pick up tomorrow when we actually have some results.
Yeah, 24 hours later, we might have 8% of the precincts reporting.
Right. Yeah.
So the commentary from 538, Buttigieg's Iowa communications director at this point is just tweeting out photos of precinct results from places Trump won in 2016. So that's where this has devolved down to.
Right, exactly. But it is really funny to just, the Republican numbers keep ticking up. It's like 89%, 90%, and the Democrats are still at 0.
Well.
Yeah,
yeah. We got nowhere to go. It
is a microcosm of capitalism versus socialism. I'm sorry, it just is.
Works for me.
I know, right? Yeah. And I'm not sorry, actually.
These are the people that want to sell us on government programs, government takeover of industries.
You can't even count votes.
Our health care.
They can't even count corn cobs in a bucket.
Yeah. Okay. So this is nothing against app developers at all, but developing a smartphone application, it's not the most difficult type of application to develop in the world. It's one of the simpler. It's one, especially one that you're just putting numbers in, and it's adding. Ordy, remember when we first learned to code? The first thing you do is you add numbers, right? That's like in high school when I took my first computer class. That's what we did. We calculated. We added numbers up, right? Like we were doing calculus on computers by the time that class was over.
Let's put this into perspective. CloutHub had a mobile app out 6 months ago, and they still don't have a desktop app. It's not goddamn rocket surgery.
No, and the browser application is far more complicated and far more difficult to secure than the mobile application. So
I guarantee you we have spent more time working on the KLRN website than Robbie Mook spent working on this app.
Probably so, and I bet it's probably more secure too. But at any rate, if you can't get that right in all the time that they worked on this, and they spent quite a while working on this app for Iowa, for the case, specially developed for this purpose, and they didn't get it right, yeah. Socialism can't do shit.
If Bernie doesn't win Iowa, they're going to riot in New Hampshire.
Probably.
What did you... I've reported on it this morning how John Cusack and Michael Moore are already talking about a civil war inside the Democrat Party.
Good.
I mean, they're putting voice to it. They're out there on saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, we won't be the only three people like giggling at that because
I just became the Family Guy fire beetle.
Good. I mean, they said this before tonight's meltdown. So if these results are even slightly off from what the polling has been for the last week or two,
put it straight into my vein.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is, I mean, this is really interesting. You think that the 2016 Republican race was interesting. This is already better than that, in my opinion.
Yummy.
Yep. We're going to end up with never Bernies.
I
mark my words.
I gotta give that here a gift from yesterday and tweet out because this is just so delicious that it's just so.
In summation, they've screwed up the impeachment process. They've screwed up the campaign season, and now they've screwed up the caucus.
Right.
That about sums it up.
And
that about sums it up.
These are the people that say they're poised to get rid of Donald Trump.
Yes, they are poised. You can tell by this evening that they are so poised. They are beyond poised.
We know what we're doing.
Yes, trust us. We know what we're doing. But just one more thing about Mook. If anyone could screw up the Iowa caucus worse than Iowa has, it would be Mook.
Right.
Right. Like the state that came up with the coin toss. And you screwed it up.
Toss?
Yeah, you screwed it up worse than they did, Mook. Good job.
Actually, it reminds me of was it a Southwest Airlines commercial when the ref was doing the coin toss at a game and he got it wrong, and it was like, "Got to get away." Maybe that was just a West Coast thing where we get a lot of Southwest Airline ads, but it just reminds me of that. You fucked up something so simple as a coin toss. So
yeah, exactly.
Way to go, Dems.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
This is more like if they flipped the coin, it landed, started rolling, fell into a storm grate, and they're all shooting flashlights trying to see what the result is.
Yeah. It is an analogy. This caucus is a perfect analogy for the presidential race, the 2020 race as a whole. So if you vote for the Democrats, this is the chaos that you get. Meanwhile, the Republicans are at 92% reporting. They're almost finished. They are 8% from done. It's like, you know, it's nuts. Like if you want to actually finish something on time, yeah. Anyway.
So CNN just said it's now appropriate to ask whether the Iowa Caucus app was tampered with.
So now it is. Okay.
Yeah. When you've lost Peter Dow. Okay. So
right.
I don't think we got anywhere else to go.
Yeah, I know. It's like we're kind of stuck here filling airtime because they've refused to give us any material.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they've given us like enough material to last till November. To be honest,
I mean,
right? I mean, because if you think that I'm gonna forget that the Republicans got to 100% and the Democrats are still sitting at 0, that ain't gonna happen. It's gonna my new header on my Twitter account might be 0 to 100. Like home 0, visitors 100. Or vice versa. I mean, I'm not really sure, but at any rate, I'm not going to forget this.
I mean, just for the sake of speculation, do you think, as of right now, a 0 result is helping anybody in the field?
No, I don't think this helps anybody, period.
It doesn't help any singular person. It is allowing all of them to make a victory speech. Like I said a little bit ago about Klobuchar, they're all out there making victory speeches. Even Wang probably, Yang.
Yang, yeah, he did. He made a speech.
Yeah, so they all get to make their victory speeches like they won Iowa and get to continue their campaign into New Hampshire. Because whatever the result turns out isn't going to matter. They've already forgotten about Iowa. They're moving on to New Hampshire.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying is usually the narrative, it'll start tonight and into tomorrow morning is, this one had a great showing in Iowa. This one showed momentum. This one got a big boost, and nobody is. So,
well, that's true. I think it may hurt whoever the winner would have been, but it helps whoever all the losers would have been. So both of you are right, actually. I think about that, but who it helps more than anything is the GOP and the Republicans across the board and across the country. I don't think anyone will forget this, because here's the thing about Iowa. It's the first primary. Everybody watches it. Everybody pays attention. This is a major fiasco, and CNN, as Ordy just pointed out, is blowing it up even further by throwing the app might have been tampered with into the mix. So they're going to drag it out even further, right? And they're going to blame each other, or they're going to blame they might blame the GOP for doing it, which
the GOP got Russia to hack it. That's what happened.
Right, yeah. And yeah, exactly. We got Russia, whatever. So there will be some sort of insanity that ensues that probably comes straight out of Tater's mouth. And Jennifer Rubin, like, what's she tweeting right now? Has anybody looked at her TL? Because she's probably tweeting something extremely insane. So but I think that I still think it helps the GOP more than anything, because 37 delegates, they're all going to Trump. Nobody got enough to even take a delegate from him, and they're probably at 93% by now. Yep, they are.
Well, here's my longer question: is that they, they've been saying for a while that whoever wins Iowa, I think it's been 9 of the last 11 winners have gone on to get the nomination. That's how much they invest in this. They are now to the point where they're essentially saying that this result is going to be compromised. So that's going to affect whatever benefit was supposed to come out of this at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whoever does eventually win,
well, okay,
they're going to have that specter of, did they really win Iowa hanging over their head?
And here's the thing that, you talk about a civil war within the Democrat Party. Mook worked for Hillary. He's a Hillary acolyte for the most part, right? He worked for her, and he spent 3 years after that talking about election hacking and security and integrity and everything else. Then he creates an app for the Iowa caucus. It's a complete freaking fiasco, and they're going to say that it was tampered with. This guy that's been consulting and advising people on election security for the past 3 years. I mean, does this smell funny to anybody else? And even if it doesn't smell funny to anybody else that's on, in the chat room or talking to me right now, it's going to all those Bernie supporters, because they went through a primary with Hillary already, and we know what happened there.
Oh, no, this is definitely a garbage bag that's leaking out of the bottom kind of aroma coming out of this.
Ooh, garbage water.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake talking about what happened in Des Moines 47 after the first round. And, this is kind of this explains social media pretty well. Sanders' person is so passionate, she alienates a Yang person who joins Buttigieg.
Yeah,
and that's basically, Eric Birdie Bro on Twitter.
Right. All right, there's nowhere else to go with this.
No, we can go on this. Thank you, Dems, for giving us a good laugh in the short show.
Right, exactly. This was almost as good as Monty Python. Really. It's like Benny Hill on elections. I mean, it's seriously Keystone Cops election version.
Yeah, could they put the caucus to yakety sax?
Yes.
I'm just going to say in Nevada, they got to be both very excited and very nervous, because they don't want to screw up like this, but they've got to look tremendously better as a result.
Yeah, Nevada's looking Nevada's looking good now. After the fiasco in 2016.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, anybody else having a hard time Twitter load, or am I suspended?
What?
I can't get Twitter to load. I've got no timeline, no DMs, no trends, nothing. Just a bunch of swirling circles. So, here we go. I'm not suspended.
Yeah, that was your ISP dinging you because you won't stop. Jeff just did.
Link. I'll be contacting the FCC in the morning.
Jeff just did Jeff, thank you. Jeff made a header, or found me a header for my Twitter account. It says 100 to 0.
Nice. Ooh, what's Brian Williams got to say? Anyway, so yeah, let's wrap this up. We got nowhere to go tonight. We're just feeling dead. We're just on time right now.
Yeah, we're just laughing.
I'm pretty well tapped
out, we're just laughing, and it's probably gotten really boring to you guys because we're just laughing and mocking.
We're telling you what you can find on Twitter yourself.
Right, I know it's fun to listen to us mock the Democrats. I'm sure that you guys are having a wonderful time listening to us mocking the Democrats. We're having a wonderful time doing it. But really, how long can this go on? So, we are going to, I will be here producing LL and Aggie Weekend tomorrow night at 9 and on the couch. Well, actually, will we? Because we are doing SCOTUS. No, we're doing the State of the Union. We're doing the SOTU tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so we'll be doing SOTU tomorrow. Maybe we'll be here at 9 and SOTU at 10. We don't really know. Check Twitter for the details. And then Wednesday night we'll have a red wine. And what are you up to, Ordy?
Well, this Thursday I've got Culture Shift with Brad. This is a Culture Shift with Brad.
No. This week is
DITM. Never mind.
Yeah, we got Disasters in the Making Thursday. We're doing with Birds of Prey coming out. We're going to be covering that and Suicide Squad. So I've got some dire movie viewing in front of me right now.
Lovely.
I've got juxtaposition on our Politics Free Friday night.
Yep, and Cyber Wars will be back next week. Don't fret.
We'll be back next week with election security.
And I'm sure that the whole MOOC thing will come up.
I'm sure, yeah. Thank you for giving us great content for Cyber Wars, Robbie. We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Always appreciate it. So,
well, I want to say good night, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Yep, absolutely ditto, and I think you will enjoy our closing song. It is called It All Adds Up. And I don't know of a more appropriate song. It all adds up. Good night, y'all.
Looky here, got 'em all lined up. Same bitchy girls and boys. On their hands, on their knees, slither through the streets. Programmed to seek and destroy. And it all adds up. And it all adds up. Oh my, no one's on my side. Too paranoid to listen to me. You can cast me out, you can tape my mouth, but you can't get a stone to bleed. And it all adds up. And it all adds up. You know I love it when you say you're afraid. Don't you hate it when I'm making you shake? Make the truth from the news, put a hit down on the loose. Now you're counting on and making you dead. There ain't no magic bullet, there's no cure for the weak. There's no sympathetic shoulder here to put you to sleep. You're a long, long way from where you thought you would be. Every murder has a motive, but you ain't killing me. And it all adds up. Got something to say? And it all adds up. Riddle me this before I take it back. Been stealing my shit for years. So kiss my quiet, bad man's fire. 'Cause you know I'm gonna bring you to tears. And it all adds up.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For JD Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and... she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.